Goldilocks comments in Global Economic News Friday afternoon, June 14, 24. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. First, enlarge the chart above so you can get the full picture, where you will see the last two charts at the bottom. Take a look at the two bottom sections of this chart on the US debt clock. If you look at it closely, you will see that the production rate is not meeting the demand and supply rate. As you can see from the numbers, the demand and supply is way above production. When the need rises, as it will for our utility tokens on the QFS, prices will rise, including our tokenized gold assets on the new market. So, the shipping industry along with gold are in process of finding equilibrium that will enable the stabilized production of goods to synchronize themselves with stabilized prices in tokenized assets. There is a shift in attention towards credit valuation adjustments taking place. This is where the fun begins. Let's sum up a little bit from the last article posted last night and this morning. On the Moscow exchange, we have local currencies currently being traded. This will enable countries to individually synchronize their gold with their shipping correlations through tokenized assets. As these assets are interfaced on the QFS, real-world assets can now find real-world values as they are traded on the market. As these new prices that form on the Moscow exchange begin to solidify, we will notice a domino effect globally as currencies and goods begin to exchange internationally. This is the starting point. This is where it all begins. This is a process determined by supply and demand, revealing price determinations through price actions that take place on the market. Sovereign Wealth Fund announcement. New sovereign fund starts deploying capital. The first batch of investments and startups begin this month. Why? The purpose of a sovereign wealth fund is to move onto the global market the assets and startup pools of liquidity in a country on the international stage through the liquidity provided by the SWF. Hong Kong's new tokenized assets are in process of being interfaced onto the QFS. These new real-world asset prices based on real-world values will begin to reset and correlate themselves with new market chart patterns. As they are being formed, movement into actual prices going forward will be gradual and not a shock to the system. World Federation of Exchanges says tokenization's main benefit is fractionalization. The World Federation of Exchanges, WFE, the global trade body for stock exchanges and clearinghouses, today published a paper on tokenization. On balance, it was critical of the concept, although it concluded that it may be the next phase for traditional assets. It found that the primary benefit of tokenization is fractionalization. And by making fractional assets available to a larger pool of investors, there's potential to enhance liquidity. Do wholesale CBDCs compete with bank services? Most banks are not keen on retail central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, because they fear it will lure away bank deposits. The recent support by the American Bankers Association for the anti-CBDC bill is evidence of this. Wholesale CBDCs, the ones only usable by institutions, were considered useful for banks. However, some institutions are keener than others, often depending on the application of the wholesale CBDC. Executives in the securities services sector are usually the most enthusiastic. On the payment side, J.P. Morgan's Umar Farouk appeared to have reservations during last month's consensus event. Iraq's development road may link with China's Belt and Road. El Sudani outlined Iraq's interest in developing gas projects to boost the manufacturing and fertilizer industries, adding value to the economy and creating job opportunities. He proposed presenting potential sites to CNPC for integrated energy projects comprising oil and gas production, processing plants, power plants, and petrochemical refineries. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.